Hey Tristar athletes, Coach Cliff here. Wanting to show you how to use the bike pacer calculator that we created for your Tristar athletes and how to use it in your upcoming race to pace well, whether you're using power, pace, perceived effort, or all of the above. So the calculator starts off with asking you a bunch of simple questions, and then you just fill them in from there and you get to generate your split. So first you're going to select what distance you're actually racing. So you can select from Ironman, half Ironman, Olympic, or sprint. So we'll select Ironman to get started. You can then select whether or not it's a flat course, rolling, hilly, or mountainous course. Remember, these are kind of general calculations here at this point, but it does help us get down to the ability of the athlete, you and your pacing strategy, and what you've accomplished in training. So we'll say it's a flat Ironman course, for instance. And then we're going to select the wind speed. So we may need to come back to this one as we get closer to race day and decide just what the wind conditions actually are. But let's just say we're going to do 0 to 5 mile an hour winds. Okay, next we need to select what percentage of the time we think, roughly, we're going to be using our aero bars. So for selecting a road bike, we have that as an option. If you're going to be riding aero bars for less than 25% of the time, or you're going to be doing aero bars 25%, maybe less than 50%, or aero bars greater than 60 but less than 90%. So you're going to have to come up with something that you've done likely in training is the most optimal way to do this. So let's say we're going to ride actually 90% of the time in the aero bars for this Ironman, so a flat, fast course. Then you're going to select whether or not you train with power, fairly self-explanatory here, just entering that in. Next, I want you to enter in your current FTP. So let's just put in a value. We'll say it's 285 watts, which is somewhere around Coach Cliff's power right now. Then you're going to enter in your threshold heart rate. Let's just say that. Next, you're going to enter in your level of fitness. Now, if you don't know what your current CTL fitness level actually is, the way that you can arrive at that is by saying the CTL is somewhat synonymous with the number of 40-day rolling average minutes of exercise that you've actually been accomplishing. So let's say you've been doing 45 to maybe 80 minutes a day of activity. That's what you would select, just like that. And it's a range. So 40 days, averaging out, even those days that you didn't train, what was the average number of hours you trained over 40 days. So for some of you that may be, more newer athletes, may be lower, somewhere between 16 and 45. Above average fitness might be 46 to 80, and high levels of fitness go from 80 all the way up to 160. So we'll select 81 to 130. That's kind of the range for an Ironman athlete. Next, we're going to look at, well, what is your age? Pretty simple here. Less than 20 years old, greater than 20, but less than 40, and greater than 40 and less than 55. So I'm going to say I'm less than 40. And then we're going to select the athlete level. Now, this is a bit subjective here, but the way that we've selected and built this calculator for you guys is to select 0 if you're a very beginner, 1 if you have moderate but pretty much still beginner experience level, 2 is if you are a bit more than experienced and maybe you've done a 70.3 at that point, 3 is intermediate to advanced, and 4 is elite, elite to professional. So let's just say, for instance, today we are an advanced age grouper at this point, and we'll select level 3. And then lastly, you decide with what confidence level you want to run. You can do conservative, run very confident, conservative, run somewhat confident, safely paced for your ability, safely paced for strong runners, or safely paced for proven strong runners. And then lastly, you can see what it looks like if you were completely blown and you went way too hard and you're going to struggle on the run. So then the calculator gives you all the different ranges of your fastest split, your estimated split, a slow split for you, max heart rate, average heart rate, and it also shows you the miles per hour that you should be targeting. So the central band that's in the central here is to the calculator is actually really the closest that you want to stay with all the target. Everything that gets farther away from that target is, a little bit less optimal in terms of the pacing strategy. So that's how you enter in the values for the bike pacing calculator to run well off the bike. Let us know what questions you have and enjoy using the calculator.